Coming up on today's Better Together.
I do very tactile tools. I write down gratitude, like what I'm grateful for. At the end of the day, either write or say it, like three things that I love that happened that day. I wake up in the morning, as dorky as this sounds and cheesy. It's a tool that I heard from I think a great healer. I say, today is a perfect day.
I'm on a journey to get better, and I want to do it with you. And I'm not just focusing on physical health. I'm focusing on everything: emotional wellness, spirituality, finances, relationships, and so much more. Every week, it will be my personal goal to bring us, the world's leading healers, experts, and game changers, to share groundbreaking secrets and tips to getting better in all areas of life. Getting better isn't easy, but it's a whole lot easier when we can do it together. Welcome to Better Together with me, Maria Menounos.
You never want to rest on your laurels. You want to keep doing things that terrify you. That quote is from the great Kate Walsh, who is with us now. And before I bring Kate in, I want to just read a little intro to let the very, very few people who don't know Kate know who she is. Or maybe you know her, but maybe you don't know her as well as you think. Kate Walsh is an American actress, producer, activist, and entrepreneur, known for her iconic roles on Grey's Anatomy, 13 Reasons Why, Umbrella Academy, Kicking and Screaming, Emily in Paris, and so many more. A timeless performer with a keen eye for discerning roles, Kate Walsh is also the founder of the Boyfriend fragrance line, and today helping to launch a $100 million movie studio in Australia. In addition, Kate has opened up about her various health struggles, seemingly overcoming one after another. After her benign brain tumor operation, she personally advised my wife Maria when she was diagnosed with her tumor, helping her immensely. Please, let's give a warm Heal Squad welcome to Kate Walsh. Thank you, Kate.
Hey.
How are you? Kate, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm laughing at the quote that I said, apparently.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. You want to keep doing things that terrify you.
I know. Well, I think it's just, I do take big swings in life and risks, and then I kind of figure out how I'm going to do it once I'm in it.
Right.
Which is sometimes unpleasant for those around me.
Right.
But no, as I'm sure you know. I mean,
yes.
But you have a wife. Maria is that
yes.
way. I mean, you guys, it's like, all right, let's do this. Let's try that. Let's go for it. You know, I think there's an urgency. It's a little existential. It's like, life is short. Let's do an experience and try to everything we can. Right.
Well, yes. And I feel like with pandemic, it's caused this obviously terrible disruption in a lot of ways, but the disruption has a lot of people thinking, maybe I'm not on the right path. Maybe there's more to this world that I need to do. So I think a lot of people are making pivots, and I think it's scary, but I think it's really cool. So it obviously has worked out for you and Maria. You've both paid a bit of a price with your health, and we'll talk about that. But do you, speaking of the health thing, you know, this is a question I always ask people, like, was it worth it, Kate? You know, everything you've been through?
Was what worth it? Everything?
Well, jumping in the fear and all the amazing success and the continued success and all like the things you're breaking now, which I can't wait to talk about. But you had a tumor like Maria. You came out with early menopause. And, you know, I mean, you've paid a price, right?
Is it worth it? Well, I mean, I know, but it's almost as if there was a choice in the matter, but really there isn't. It's just who I am. I was, you know, I didn't have a traditional life. I never did have one. I had a very kind of interesting upbringing. And I used to have, I think when I was little and for many years in life, long for a regular childhood, in quotes, or like more of a, you know, Carol Brady mom. And my mom was a total go-get. She lived a really interesting, she's still alive. She's 87. She lives a really interesting life. She kind of went on her own journey, and, you know, she got divorced from my father when I was little, and then met up with her now husband of over 45 years, I think, who's happens to be 17 years younger than her. We moved a lot. I mean, I call her the OC, the original cougar.
Right.
We had a really interesting life that was not without its pain and heartaches and challenges, but also a lot of joy and a lot of experiences that most other people didn't get to have. I moved around a lot as a kid. I had a lot of different cultural experiences, and it was an incredible childhood, and then also very uneventful, like to growing up in Tucson for a good number of years. But I don't know, it's always been in me to sort of keep going. We've all, I guess everyone in my family has this nature of like moving and taking risks and having adventures. I'd say that that's really what it is. So no, I have no regrets.
Do you see it all as adventures? Do you see them as adventures? Do you think that helped?
Yeah, I think that that's sort of the spirit, like exploration and adventure. And definitely, like, I mean, I always wanted to be an actress. And so pursuing that was, that was like what I wanted to do. And there was a lot of rejection in that. And I say you have to be sort of a masochist to be in this field.
Right, yes.
But then I was very fortunate to have success. And then, like you say, even before the pandemic, I mean, the brain tumor was definitely a wake-up call. But I knew something even before that was sort of coming, this sort of, I was always sort of alpha and moving forward and building business. And, I think very much like Maria in many ways, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And she and I identify a lot. But then I was like, I want to slow down. Like I was like, I need to other things. I want to live life. I want more time with my family and friends and less doing, if you will. Yes. So that's been a big process since 2015 when I had the brain tumor and I was diagnosed. So now, like this whole undoing.
Undoing. Yeah, it's funny. We had Oprah's life coach on a while back, Tim Story, and he said the exact same thing Maria said, is like we've become human doings, not human beings, and we need to get back to just being.
Yeah. Well, a good global pandemic will
right.
will sit your butt down and be, not to make light of it at all, because it's been such an incredible, challenging time. But I also think it's been a big gift, and for me, and even here in Australia, I've still had to sit with myself a lot, and a lot of stuff comes up when you're not busy running around,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you go, I hope I have the infrastructure to deal with it all.
Right. But that's true. So you've got people being disrupted in a way like, I'm going to go out and do something different. But then I think you're right. There's a disruption with others going, I've been doing too much. Moms, everything, running around, all these activities. Be like, you know what? Like, it's time to everyone just stay in the house, have dinner together, get to know each other or whatever. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of in that space myself. And I think so is Maria. It's like, no, this really doesn't matter as much anymore like it did. Do you think though that do you think that some of the stuff you experienced along the way in and outside of Hollywood contributed to or just even the workplace, doesn't have to be Hollywood, contributed to the tumor?
I wonder. I mean, I don't know. Do you have ideas about that?
Yes,
I don't know, because I think it could be hormonal, and I think it's. I'm not certain, but I do know.
But the menopause, right? So you're right. It was hormonal, but then we go back to your menopause issues, and I have a bit of a theory because working with and coaching a lot of like female celebrities, but then just females in general, I look to my left and it's breast cancer. I look to my right, it's like, it's I'm not having my period for 3 years. Then it's like I'm just astounded by the amount of health issues, and I just think we were all just going too fast. I think with Maria,
I did too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that also, again, back to this time now, that we were going against nature, and we were going against nature. And I've seen it with friends that are like trying to have babies and they can't. And I'm like, well, you're running 8 different shows. Like you're doing so much. Your body's like, there's not a place to lay an egg.
That's right. Yes.
What I mean?
Yeah. Well, with Maria, I will tell you, thank God we were not able to conceive because they said it would have really activated her tumor in a horrible way.
Same with me. I
Right.
mean, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we ended up, we're working on surrogacy, but working with some therapists, that there's been theories about the fact that her body and other like women you're talking about that are working so much, the body goes into a protect mode. And by bringing in another body, that's going to drain your body, the primary body. And that's the first kind of order of business of you is to protect you. So they won't allow an embryo to come in and form because they know it's going to be such a drain on a system that's already being drained. And there's a big name celebrity. I don't want to out her, that you know and Maria knows, that she was lucky that she literally got one egg, just one. She was only able to harvest, and thank God it was able to make a baby. But this is a person who has like 40 jobs, and I feel like there's definitely there's no coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Absolutely. I think absolutely.
Like,
and age, of course, and all of that, I mean, that's just, the truth is that I think we're meant to be having babies when we're in our 20s, probably.
Isn't that crazy? I know. But mentally, I couldn't have done it as a father.
No way.
Right,
I couldn't have. There's no way.
I would have been a mess. Is it something you would consider later, in life, or do you think?
No, I think I'm good. I've been, I've had the experience of being kind of stepmom. I have so many young people in my life, and at different ages, and I love my relationship to various, nephews and nieces, goddaughters, sons, but also just young people that I can sort of mentor or be of service to in different ways, whether it's in, this industry or not. I think that, but that was a thing I'd really struggled with for a long time. Like, I had even, considered adopting and went down the road with that. And then that was after I had the tumor. I'm like, okay, I think I just have to do this alone. I never wanted to do it alone, but then it just wasn't right for me. I just wasn't. I'm like, something's holding me back, and I know me, and I know when I want to do something, I do it. And so I kept stalling, right? And then I was like, you know what? This is not what I need to be doing. This is not, and I don't know, but yeah, I became very clear. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna be a parent in that traditional way, or and I knew for me, with adopting, it would have been, I'm going to go adopt, do it on my own. I'm going to have to probably take a job I don't really want to take. We'll have to work a lot. And then I'd have to hire a nanny, and I'm not really going to see it just was not, and I had the luxury of choice. So let me just preface that, with that, I had the luxury of, thinking about this and really pondering it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not how I want my life. I want to go do something else.
We had Margaret Cho on a little while back, and she was saying the same thing about being single. Mm-hmm. She was just saying, one relationship after another. She's like, you know what? I'm good now. I really am happy being single. And her message to other women was like, it's not that, it's nothing wrong with it. It's actually really cool. It's just a different life. Yeah. And so it's, I know many people who were not parents and had wonderful, very rich lives. And, they, same as you, they mentored, or whether it was nieces and nephews or it was stepchildren, or like you said, just even strangers that they brought in. And I don't even know for Maria and I don't know if it'll happen. It's really, God's hands. I mean, we don't know. It's,
Yeah. Well, but I also think too that you and Maria, there's so many different ways to be of service. And I think also the desire to parent is also maybe not dissimilar to the desire to stop thinking of oneself and wanting to serve, wanting to think of something bigger, something don't you I don't know if you identify with that.
I 100%
and there's so many different ways to do that. That's a great mature place to be, and a great, I don't know, it's just part of, evolution, and going, oh, okay, now what can I do? What can I do for my community? What can I do for the planet? What can I do for other people? And that's a really healthy, great place to be.
Yeah. And it's helpful too, for us, we purposely, because we knew it was when we first were in the business, we were like, there's no way. We're both working 7 days a week, 7 nights a week. And this isn't fair to a child. And same as you, we're going to have to take the worst jobs, and it's just not the right time. But what we also didn't want to do was be like the double income, no kids. We didn't want to be kind of like a lot of the selfish people in LA we got to see. And we would adopt dogs. So we had like 6 dogs, and they were our kids. And some were seniors and very sick. And it really kept us grounded. And then we would work at the shelters and stuff too. But that was a conscious decision to say, this is going to make it so we have to serve in some way. And I think it really helped us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting point too. Anything to keep you grounded and connected to the earth, to reality, to, something that isn't the business, if you will.
The business. Oh my God. Well, speaking of the business, because I'm a film junkie, and I haven't made a film in 10 years, and I'll make one again someday, but that's my love and joy. So can you tell me about this Australian studio that you just go to Australia and go, okay, we're just going to grab $100 million and make a studio. No big deal. Can you tell me about
No, it's actually, it sounds so impressive, but I really didn't. I got here about a year ago, and right before the pandemic, right before it was locked down. And then I was here for lockdown, and I had a lot of time on my own, and a lot of walking on a beautiful beach, I must say, and a lot of going, wait, why and I'm here for a while, so I'm going to probably want to work. And why aren't people shooting here? This is gorgeous. It's so stunning. The light is incredible. The terrain is beautiful. It's pristine. It's very much like California, the climate. And people would say, oh yeah, they come and shoot little bibs and bobs on location, but they don't come to shoot big productions here. There's definitely films that have been shot here, but there's not a big studio that's international, that's big enough to put WA and Perth on the map for international, recognition, financing, and to enable, WA to compete with the rest of Australia, meaning, Queensland has studios, Sydney, Melbourne. And I was like, well, and I just started meeting people in my business, and then other community leaders and people that have been actually working on it for decades to get it done here. And it's different here than in the States because government has to approve it and approve a land lease, and then and if you're lucky, subsidize it. It was a lot of people that have been, like I said, toiling for some for decades to advocate. There's this WAPA, which is Western Australia Academy for Performing Arts here, which is they're one of their biggest training
and the
academies.
training
There's one
there
in Sydney.
I know from working with Australian actors, from what I understand, that training for an Australian actor is so intense.
Yeah, no, they're better. They're better than us. There's a reason why they get a lot of jobs. They're better than us. But Hugh Jackman came out of here, Jai Courtney, many others, a lot of, and it's full, it encompasses, set production, filming, writing, everything, pre and post production. And it just so happened too, that because of COVID, a lot of people came back because everybody who gets trained here leaves because there's no jobs. So a lot of people were back. So there was a big momentum, a lot of synergy to get this studio built. And then we have a fabulous premier, Mark McGowan, who is like, all right, it's also jobs. It's jobs, jobs, jobs. And it's that whole principle of build it and they will come, so it's gonna happen. And it's really exciting.
And the arts really always lifts communities. I know so many cities that were down and out, and it's like they had the little theater. Oh, like North Hollywood in California, the NoHo Arts District. Well, what is that? 15 years ago, ha, ha, ha. Now, all of a sudden, North Hollywood became a really great place.
And there's a lot of arts here. There's a lot of civic love and desire for it, and a lot of a rich culture. And there's so many stories that are just indigenous stories and local stories that I think the world will get a chance to see as well. So it's very, very exciting.
It's unbelievable.
I'm super thrilled.
Okay. And so talk about do you believe in the universe at work? Because someone like you, right before the pandemic, I gotta say, Kate, somebody up there loves you. Mm-hmm. I have some neighbors across the street that work in gaming, and they ended up right before all this, they had to move to North Carolina, and it was like the company sold their house for them, gave them a substantial raise plus help buy the new house, and my friend, the wife was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we have to," and then the whole world collapsed. And I said, "Guys, I never want to hear you guys ever think the world is against you in any way, shape, or form." So with you, Kate, like, you think did the universe kind of talking to you to send you to Australia right before this?
Yeah, there is definitely some driving forces. And, I also feel though, like, look, the universe, you could say it also, I got a big fat brain tumor out of the deal. So,
right. But
I do think that it speaks to you. You're like, hey, what are you going to do? And how are you going to listen? And I also think that one of the things that I love about, I don't know, still being here and aging and being more is I feel like I'm, not to sound cheesy, but I'm more conscious and more in touch with myself and more with and in touch with my intuition and instincts. And so I feel like maybe I'm better able to make choices, or I just trust my gut, which, as we know, I know all about. But the gut is the real brain, the second brain. Maybe it's the first brain.
Yeah. Yes, and I think that when you have the loudness, but a lot of us have so much, noise that we're not able to listen, and so between the fact that the noise calmed down and you're probably closer to nature, like you're walking on the beach, right? So
yes, yeah. I've slowed down significantly here. I do much less, but then I do feel like things, it's funny because how I feel is like I'm not doing much and yet things are happening. So that's a good sign. That's good.
Not doing much, but things are happening. Yeah. I think for Marie and I, if I look back on the last couple of decades, I think I worked too hard to will things. And, and although I was able to will a lot of cool stuff, I look back now that if I had willed less, I probably would have gotten the same amount, maybe even more. So, that's
going in flow. It's a whole different thing, but it really is a whole different life once you choose to go. I mean, this is a whole other show. We could talk about it, I'm sure.
No, but that is our show, please.
But going with nature. I mean, with nature. I mean, I try to keep, I call it, as a friend, a good friend of mine calls it a ventilated schedule. So I try to keep my schedule light so that the day can show me what I need to do. Like I can then be there for where the magic is, and what I just saw the dog for the first time in the bed. Oh my God. But for the magic to happen and for life to happen, that way there's room for life, as opposed to, okay, here's my schedule. I find that I used to be beholden to that schedule. And now, because of anxiety and everything else, like now I need everything. And now I'm like, oh, what's the day going to bring? There happens to be this, or, oh, it's sunny out, or, oh, it's that, or, does that make sense?
Yes. And I think you got a trademark, a ventilated schedule. I've never heard that. I think that's brilliant. Because listen, there's a reality of life. You have to schedule some things.
Yeah.
But a ventilated schedule. Yeah, no.
And also and being flexible, like the idea of like, I have to be able to change, just being flexible. Because, the other day I woke up with a cold. I had a full day. It was like, I got to go to the dentist, get my hair colored. And then, I don't know, I had something else. And I was like, everything's canceled. I have a cold. I'm not going to go and get people sick. And you're like, but in the past that would have been like, no, you have to just fight through, and it was actually irresponsible. But that idea, and you're like, okay. And then you let go and go, I guess I don't know. And I'll get that hair appointment back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're like, just the body, it becomes for me, the great arbiter too. You're like, how do I feel? What do I need to take care of myself?
And I wonder if the health issues drove you there to that place.
Absolutely, unequivocally. Absolutely. And by default, that happened. I wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for that tumor. Then you're like, and then other things.
Yeah. And
because of that, you're like, the hips that have to be replaced, and
yeah, how
whatever.
does
it's all
like how And you don't, I mean, you're a young, beautiful woman, just so I can say, just even seeing your recent film. And I said to Kelsey, I said, she's never coming home. Sorry.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not. I said, she's never coming home. There's no way. But what happened? But what happened with your hips? I read that.
Well, that was a byproduct of the brain tumor because the steroids I had to take. The steroids caused this thing called avascular necrosis to the hip. So it killed off the blood and supply. So I thought I just, pulled my groin and yoga. And they're like, no, you actually have this thing. And how did that happen? Are you, it's usually only star athletes or it was because of, but that's also, you just have to look at it as like the gift of these things, like how the gift of illness and how grateful I am that I live, that I have the means to have access to great doctors and great recovery and great physical therapy people and great healers, and that I learn from it.
And you're staying in gratitude. That's a big thing.
Yeah, we have to, right? It's either that or I do. I have to, but I have to work at that. It doesn't come easily. I have to work at gratitude for sure.
Yeah. How do you work at it? Yeah, but how do you work at it, Kate? Because it is important, and I have to work at it too.
I write down, I do very tactile tools. I write down gratitude, like what I'm grateful for. At the end of the day, either write or say it, like, like 3 things that I love that happened that day. Mm-hmm. I wake up in the morning, as dorky as this sounds and cheesy. It's a tool that I heard from I think a great healer. I say, today is a perfect day. And I try to fake feeling that because I'm a person that can wake up dark. That's my natural. I'm Italian Irish. I'm like, I'll wake up like, ooh, just cranky, dark.
Yes, Kate, I'm Italian Irish and Catholic, and so I like, and it's a battle, where yes, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So I like, today is a perfect day, and then I fake feeling joy if I don't feel it, and I look out and I start like literally looking at specific things, and there's this. They say that if you look at something and love it and think about all the things you like about it, whether it's the plant, the cat, the dog, the sunrise, for 17 seconds, and you get really into that feeling of joy, that then it's in you. So it's not just saying it or writing it, it's feeling it. And you fake it. You're an actor. It's like, I'm an actor. I fake it. Like I can act. If I can act and trick myself into believing all these other realities are real, then I can,
But I don't.
So that's a tool.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to be an actor. But Kate, I don't think you have to be an actor. That's amazing. We can all, like I'm here with Winnie, my like little poodle who I adore, and I can look at her and I can get myself to that place of joy for 17 seconds easily, hugging her, kissing her, Yeah. So yeah, I don't think wow, that is a fantastic technique.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I like it. And also but I would do it in the micro transactions, meaning like when I was face down on a PT table in New York City, when I was having my shoulder worked on because I broke my shoulder, it was like, I had to run, Keven.
Of course you did.
And the guy was, working on it, and I'm looking at this pebbled linoleum and thinking, that's kind of cool. Like, what's cool about this? Well, it kind of looks like, it reminds me of sand, reminds me of kind of where I grew up in Tucson. It's kind of cool, the little pattern. I mean, that's the level that I was working on in terms of keeping into a healing, grateful, or appreciative mind state, or mind frame, rather, frame of mind.
Wow.
And like you said, it's work. It doesn't come easy, and you have to keep doing it.
Oh, it's humbling. I'm humbled constantly, and I mess up all the time. And it's harder in relationships. It's harder in, when you're working and you're or if you're in a stressful situation, but it's, it's easy when you're on holiday.
Yes, I know.
But that's it. And slowing down, that slowing down too, because I can get heightened and get like,
Yeah. What do you see for the, Kate, what do you see for the future of Hollywood? It's definitely going to be new Hollywood when this passes, or when this new normal rises.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea. What do you say? I have no idea. I think it's global. I think it's global. It is global.
I think it's global now. I think everyone is going to work all over the globe and contribute that way. And I think LA will find its way back, but in a new normal way. But I don't think that. I think it's a time for talent. I think for the middle people in our business, and maybe who've kind of made a mess of things, I think I would be very concerned, for the people working in those big giant buildings on Century Boulevard. I would be, for them, that's like, I don't know. I know agents at WME, and they're completely disrupted. They don't even know who's left in the company. I mean, it's for them, it's been a struggle, but for the artists, it's been great, because it's like, hey, you know what? I can stay in my hometown with my family, or I can create content online, or I can go to Australia and I can make a great movie. And by the way, like, you just call up half your friends and go, hey, you want to come in, do me a favor, big favor, come in and be in Australia on a beach and make a movie. Yeah, I got you. 2-3 weeks, done. And I think that's going to be the future.
Yeah, yeah.
My greater concern is movies. But my greater concern is movies, because, and that I want to talk about your film. That comes out in like 2 days? Oh no, it'll be out by the time we do this interview. Mm-hmm. It's out video on demand. And
in theaters, some theaters. I don't know which theaters, but it's in theaters.
Yeah, AMC, theaters, I think, but right?
But then also VOD, which used to be like, I hope we don't just stream.
No, now.
And now we're like, I hope we're...
No. It's entitled Sometime Other Than Now, with Donald Loach, who I also love, who's a great actor. And it's a really, really sweet, heartfelt film. I was saying to these guys, great date movie. Like, for all ages.
It's super sweet.
So sweet.
It's really, it's funny too. I was saying, I was giving Dylan McCormick, who wrote it and directed it, I was like, are we sure you want to stay with this title, Sometime Other Than Now? It's a mouthful. It's kind of hard to remember. And then now, as I watched it and I saw the title, I'm like, who doesn't want to be in Sometime Other Than Now?
Yeah,
I mean, it couldn't be more prescient. It couldn't be more perfect. And it's such a sweet film. It's so intimate. It's so beautiful. It's a simple story. And I loved it. It feels like 90s indie film making to me.
Yes. But more polished, which I loved. And to me, the title especially worked when the credits roll.
Right?
Because you go,
Isn't that
wait,
crazy?
You think of the title, you go, oh my God, I get what I just saw and why. So without giving anything away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was also refreshing. I have to say, Kate, I don't know what it's like over there, but in the States, it's been, the last thing on our mind has been really TV. I mean, no matter what goes on with Bachelor and all, like, crazy things have happened on Bachelor, like we have the oldest Bachelorette ever comes on, 3 episodes in, she quits because she finds the love of her life, a beautiful African-American man. They go off into the sunset. They bring in an African-American female to be the new Bachelorette. And if this were 3 years ago, like, the whole country would have been abuzz. It just kind of came and went. People are really focused so much right now on the pandemic. And then when it comes to movies, it's been the same thing. And I can't tell you how much I miss movies. I miss a 90-minute or 2-hour experience that I can get in and enjoy and then move on with my life. Not that I love the 13-episode shows and the 13-episode arcs, and I binge all that stuff. But this was like, it was just wonderful to have that experience. And I really wish I could have seen it with Maria, because it was a Keven and Maria movie. Like, it was, but I encourage anybody who just wants that, that nice experience. You go, you watch a movie, you think a little bit, you have good feelings, and then you're done.
It makes you feel good. It's like beautiful. It's character driven. It's story driven. It's a simple, beautiful story about redemption and love and forgiveness. And it's real. I felt like it was very real.
It was.
It's funny too, because you were saying, and when we were making this, when I first read the script and stuff, I'm like, this is great. And it's a great character. And I love Donald. I mean, as you said, I'm a huge fan of his work. And I'm like, I'm really excited to work with him. And I'm like, was anybody going to care about this story? This is just a little story about a couple of people and at a certain point in their life. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, I do. And it's sort of like with everything. I think that what you're saying too is like, in terms of just even how Hollywood has changed in the global pandemic and how it affects TV and film, that the smallness matters, like the intimacy matters, like these simple storytelling, and not just necessarily a flash, 13 episodes and pyrotechnics and outer space, and like we're in a time warp, and is it, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's so many concepts, which is cool, but there's also a relief in, like, I feel like even in alchemy that you're like, I'm watching a beautiful story
Yes.
about real humans
Yeah.
relating to each other
as soon as
and
it went on-
overcoming
Yes.
adversity and deciding to love each other, even though they're all flawed. And, you know, and I just loved it. I was really happily surprised because, well, it's hard for me to watch myself, but like, just that it's, like you said too, that it's an indie film at its best, but it's more polished than the 90s, which is a big testament to Dylan and the crew.
And
So,
yeah, and I felt like I knew these people. That's why I liked it.
yeah.
I'm like, I know them.
Good.
Because
That's nice.
my mom has a little house on Martha's Vineyard. So
Yeah, okay.
that world exists, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in the wintertime down the vineyard, that world, those people exist, that world exists. And
Yeah, I loved that quality of it too. I loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was amazing. Kate, I'm so excited for you and for your new adventures. And do you have, I mean, you probably can't talk about the new projects yet, but do you have new projects lined up for the new studio in Australia?
Well, that studio is going to take a while to build. I'm hoping to bring a television show here. So
I read
we're
that.
in the process, of working on that, and we'll see how that comes about. But it's in process. It's all being put together. It's a really cool series that was meant to be shot in Florida and the Caribbean. But I'm like, how about here? So
why
that
not?
was what started it too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You know, when
hopefully.
this is going to be crazy, it sounds ridiculous, but when Mel Gibson shot his Three Stooges biopic, because he was a big giant fan of Three Stooges, and I love old Hollywood, so he made it about 20 years ago, but he shot it in Australia because of everything you're saying, but then also he was able to kind of conjure 1920s Hollywood in a better way. You know, back when it was like just a lot of orange trees. And so that's another cool thing too from that area.
It is. It's like, it's what California used to be, I would say. And so I do feel a little bit like the Ghost of Christmas Future. Like, okay, we got to build it, but you got to protect it too, because it's so stunning and pristine here.
Keep it nice.
And it's unlike any place I've ever been. I mean, the coast, the topography, the flora, the fauna. I mean, it really is incredible here. So, and a great love and a great talent here. So it's great civic love, a lot of love for the arts. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. Wow. God, I just like, why as humans do we just ruin everything? Like we get something good. Like I just thought of that. Like, wait a second. Every now person's going to want to move to Australia. And then we're going to
like now.
Yeah, no, not, you know, like, yeah, you're right. Because when I first moved to LA from New England, I just was horrified by mini mall after mini mall after prefab house after prefab. You know, it was like they just ruined. You know, they ruined it. But by the way, you know, can I tell you one of the nice things about LA? And you don't hear many people say this. LA traffic, it's no more. I mean, you still have it, but not like. I mean, it's probably
not the level that it was.
half or less. And that's been really like, you know what? Like everyone's talking about all the bad things. But one of the nice things is that, and we're seeing a huge migration. Everyone is just selling houses and leaving, and we've considered it. I don't know if we have children, I don't know if I'd want to do it there, but Maria she just went back, to get some help, with her anxiety and some other issues, and she's like, Kevin, this is my home. I love our house. I love the sunshine. And I love, and my friends are here, like our people, I'm like, well, yeah, whatever, we roll, be like water. Like Priyanka Chopra said on our show a couple of weeks back, be like water and just fit wherever you go. Like,
that's right. That's actually I love that.
Yeah.
It's also like you go with the flow. You don't like, if there's a rock there, water doesn't stop and go, wait, why is the rock there? Yeah. I got to move the rock. I got to move. Like, no, it goes around it.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Kate, you are a beautiful soul, an amazing artist. Please, will you stay in touch with Maria and I and let us know about the new projects and how we can support,
Yeah, I will. I will. Will you please send my love to her?
I will.
I'll reach out and text her as well. But
Thank you.
I'm so happy to talk to you. You're a delight. I just adore you. You look great.
All right, well, I'm doing my best holding down the fort
handsome
here.
gentleman club member.
Oh.
Handsome gentleman club member.
Oh.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you so much. It was a delight to talk to you.
Thanks, Kate. Bye, honey.
Oh, she's such a freaking gem.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to tell her that we were watching Kicking and Screaming this weekend.
Oh, yeah, we should have.
I was going to be like, Kate,
I wouldn't have minded at the end if you said it.
I know.
Just so
That's
you know
okay.
in the future, I wouldn't have minded if you said that.
Wow, though. I liked her take on the be like water. She put it in real regular guy terms.
Well-
A rock wouldn't get in the way and stop.
Right. And I think she had said that early in her, like, about being flexible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great takeaway, really quite a journey. And
No kidding.
she's going to be okay. And I think she'll be back here and there to visit, but I don't know. I think she's found a new universe, and I think that's going to help the country of Australia, but then also even a lot of artists, because there'll be more opportunities.
I was about to say, before you said that we ruin everything, I was about to be like, Kevin, can we move to Australia? I also wanted to tell her, Kate, I recently switched my Hinge to tell everyone I'm in Australia.
Well, Australia, I tell you, has a very big Greek community, and I know there's a lot of big Greek communities all over, but they happen to have one there. So I don't know.
Oh,
I'm down. I want to see some of the deadly things that are there. I want to experience the deadliness that is Australia.
What?
The snakes and the spiders and
The snakes, the spiders. There's a tree that's like the most painful thing in the world. That's kind of cool. Like I've always loved that. I've been a fan of Steve Irwin since I was a kid. So
I can't believe that's where your brain goes.
how is that not where your brain goes when you hear Australia?
Stephen-
Well, that just like
Stephen
awesome.
View.
I think beautiful views, beautiful men, beautiful humans,
surfing,
kangaroos.
the opera house.
Yeah, she was
Listen,
wonderful.
You guys, the movie is Sometime Other Than Now.
Mm-hmm.
It's on VOD. Like I said, I think it's a really great date movie. Or
You can watch it with Kelsey.
you can watch it with Kelsey. And also, does she have social media?
She does. Boop, boop.
At Kate Walsh.
There she is.
On Instagram. So send Kate some love and some support.
She also just joined TikTok, and the other day she posted some really cool affirmation things. So follow her on TikTok too. I've been enjoying her on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have talked about that.
Yeah.
Huh.
We'll have to get her back.
Well, she's a creator too, so she's always going to be doing something. And
Yeah.
she was such a wonderful friend to Maria.
Yeah.
When Maria was diagnosed,
Yeah.
and she said to Maria, like, no, this is not like they take this thing out and you're done. It's
there.
it's going to be a minute to recover, and
Well, could you believe her hips from that?
that's a steroid.
Wow.
Steroid is like, listen, steroids can be a great drug on many levels, but when you take not that they were overprescribed, but when you take them over time, they literally erode
Nasty. Wow.
your limbs.
That's
so
crazy.
It's anyway, but she'll be okay. She just give it that spirit, and I
She's
think
resilient.
for anyone who's going through stuff like that, there's just a lot of great notes and takeaway there. So with that, we will move on, you guys, and we remind you, as always, what do we remind them, Kelsey? Don't eat yellow snow. What?
Don't eat yellow snow. Don't spit into the wind.
Don't stand up in a canoe.
What? Oh,
You didn't know that?
no.
Oh, you'll tip over.
Oh, well.
Okay, so
So be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
and follow at Princess Winnie.
That's right.
Because she really needs the follows.
She does. She needs the follows. And listen to Regular Guy Friday. And share this episode with a friend who you really think could benefit from hearing it. And or if they're a big fan of Grey's Anatomy. Because I know I'm sending this to all my Grey's Anatomy friends.
Anyway,
Okay,
guys,
that's
take
it.
care, everybody.